this video I'm going to show you an introduction to the user interface to MSEA Binder and some of the menus and environment features built into the software. This is the main screen when you open it up, and you can see it's sectioned out into different tabs and areas in the screen with different functionality. Up here in the top left, you got tabs for a project list, all your active projects. Project is considered a container for an SET archive database, and your binding and validation information. Below that is the tree view for the particular project archive you're working on. This pretty much mimics what you see in the SET as far as the tree view goes. And you've also got user views if you got them loaded, where you can drill down to what's in the user views in the SET also. Down below it is various object properties for whatever you click on in the environment. So you can see what kind of point it is, what node object class it is, description, reference, and copy and paste from that if you need to. All of these windows can be hidden or auto hidden, so they kind of stay out of your way until you need to see them. Or you can dock them like so. They can also be moved around and float or docked in any of these docking points along here. Also in the main screen you got this system summary, which is going to show you what system you're actually selected on. So any of these controllers would be considered a system, and it shows you all the points within that controller. Along with the system is a set of tabs, 5 tabs that go along with your current selected system. So I can see real quickly these are all the systems in this particular database, and I can click on one and it updates this main system summary, and it also when I click on an item in this system summary, it'll take me to the tree where that is found over here. So it's real easy to locate where you are in the database and navigate back and forth. Some of the other tabs over here is unique. These tell me all the unique systems where the points within that system do not match any other system in the database. So these are all unique, would be considered unique graphics in most cases. You've got a similar system tab that if you're selecting on a system that has multiple identical points, like in this case this is a building meter, you can see there's 14 similar systems which have the exact point object references. So these can all be aliased to one single graphic. Now the template tab shows me all the systems that have similar systems. So if I click on each one of these VMAs, you can see there's 283 of this type, 6 of this type, 5 of this type, and so forth. So these would be all of my templated graphics possibilities here, all in one tab. And the last tab is the properties of the current system that I'm looking at. So this is a VMA, and it tells me some different properties on how it's calculated. So that's the system summary. You got some more items over here: graphic links, object list, and graphic list. So for whatever point I'm currently selected on, I can see this this point here in this VMA is actually being used in this VABRH template graphic. I can go to a graphic that I've bound, say this AHU10 graphic, and I can see that it's got a link in the Hart building and the 6th floor graphic that links directly to AHU10. I can also see every object that's bound within AHU10 right here. And within AHU10 I can see there's also a link going to the legend and the campus. So everything's linked together once you start binding and validating. It's real easy to navigate and figure out where things have been bound, if they're bound or not. That's what the green checks mean. When you validate a graphic, it checks the points that are actually bound within the graphic. So for this system AHU12, this tells me all the items that have a valid binding in the graphic and the ones that aren't bound. So that's the main screen. Down at the bottom you got a status bar for statuses, and you got a clipboard area. Any point you click on, it copies the item reference to the clipboard, and that's what you paste into your graphic tools, like GGT tool or the standard graphic screen or Visio advanced graphics. So click and paste is the operation for binding. You got a connection to your database, what it's connected to, and your license status. Up at the top, you got quick access toolbar items here, and starting with the file menu, you can export and import the project as an XML file, so you can easily move things around and store them off and load them later if you need to. The project tab or menu is the container for the project you're working on, and you can see I can import an SCT into that project, compare it to another project, and so forth. The archive, there's actually two references to archive. The SCT archive is the Johnson database, and it functions for that. The archive here is referencing the archive under the project, so you can do things like clear all the bindings out, migrate settings from project to project, and so forth. Here's some, you can create bookmarks within your tree, and so you can toggle quickly between areas in the database, go to different views. The tools, you can open SCT directly from here, and it tells you what version you're currently loaded. The binding or the validator tool is initiated from here, and this opens up in a new tab and allows you to select the type of graphic first, and then select the actual graphics that you want to test. Say I want to test these 5 or 6 graphics, and I can do a quick validate, and it tells me a status. The green ones are good. Warnings can be good or bad depending on what it is, but in most case warnings aren't really a factor. So that's your Validator tool. And then here's all the reports. So when you bring in a SET database, immediately you can start generating reports and get a feel for what's in that database. So I can do an archive report, and it's going to pull up a report viewer. And this gives me a quick overview of how many unique systems, how many points in the unique systems, and how many templates and total points. So that's a real top level view of your archive. And you can drill down into deeper stuff like all the unique items, all the template items. And once you start binding and validating, then you get these other reports like unbound object reports. Tells you every object that isn't bound to a graphic. So these are formatted reports that you can print or save as PDF and send to somebody, or do whatever analysis you want to do during and after the project or before the project starts. And finally, there's context sensitive help, so you can hit F1 at any time in the application and it'll pop up the full help file that explains a lot of detail on the various sections and functionality of the software. So there you have it, the quick tour of the user interface of MSEA Binder.